Well, let's imagine that you're working in the USA and you've been given a survey drawing and you want to use that survey drawing in the gCADPlus environment. What I've done is go File and New, and I've picked the default drawing environment. I'll cancel from here. So now we've got a scanned image. I've put it on the desktop. You might put it in your jobs folder. To insert that scanned image, it's Draw, Raster Image, and we've got to add it. I'm going to delete it. And now say let's add, and it's on the desktop, and it's called Survey, and we open it up. So the image manager now sees it, and we're going to insert the image. I've left specify the insertion point on screen and specify the scale on screen. I'll just go OK. So to specify the insertion point we do that, and to set the scale we just drag. So it's gone in at an arbitrary scale. I might at this stage, because the white cursor on top of that white image is a little difficult to see, I might go View, Background Color, White, and now things are a little easier to see. The image is still there. There's the image. You might want to put that on its own layer, so let's do that, and we'll create a layer and we'll call that Image. Whoops, I must have caps lock on. And we'll go back to making the current layer 0. So our image sits there quite clearly. Now, the image has been scaled arbitrarily. So what we now want to do is to scale that image so that the values reported back to us are meaningful. We're in the US, we're working with survey data. The survey, you can see here, the wall of the dwelling is 59.2 decimal feet. So if we use our measure tool and measure from the intersection there up to the end of that wall, we get 11.88. So I'll just drop down 11.88 and 59.2. So we have to scale this drawing by 59.2 divided by 11.88. We have a calculator, so let's do it. So we say 59.2 is the distance that we should have, but we've got, so we're going to divide it by 11.88, and we'll say, what does that equal? That's 4.983. So we'll just park that for the moment. So what we're going to do is scale this, right click, select it, right click and scale by 4.992 and hit enter. You can see that the image has been scaled up. Now let's check see if we get, by using the distance command, do we get 59.2? So we'll give ourselves the best shot. It's a good idea to scale off the longest dimension that you've got. So how close are we? 59.165, 59.2. So I'm confident now that the image, I'll just turn off warning for the moment, but you should not do that. And away we go. So we've still got a drawing called No Name, so at this stage it might be a good idea to save that drawing. So we've now got an accurate base map to work on. So we might start by drawing the footprint of the house. But you might want to rotate the drawing so everything is squared up. Well, to do that, I'm going to start the line command. I'll start it by draw line, and I'll zoom in on that. Instead of using the distance command, we're actually putting a line directly on top of that part of the house footprint. And if I select that line, you can see its angle is 78.69. We'll use our calculator again. I'll clear it. So we need to get this to squared up, we need to rotate by the difference between 90 degrees, which would be straight up, and the 78.69. So it's 90 minus 78.69, and that equals 11.31. So if we now roll out, select and rotate, we'll rotate around this bottom handle here, 11.69, and hit enter. And that should have, if we're lucky, have squared things off. We didn't rotate the line, of course. Let's delete that. It was only a fudge line. So now, and I'll get rid of this one as well. There were a couple of lines that I was playing with. So now we could turn Polar on, start our line again, and I'll come over here to the, I'll float it for the moment just to show to the standard toolbar, draw a line, and we could come in here and start clicking, so I can head off in that direction. Polar is on, I should be able to type 20.1, and we then come down in that direction there. What have we got? I find that hard to read. Looks like 4.7, so that gives you a little bit of a problem, but what we could do is come like so. So I've gone over the edge there, right click, repeat the line, and come, and we could start again near to this line here and come across here 12.0 and hit enter. We're tracking reasonably well. I think that's 15.2, and we can come down here 15.2. So you can see that we're now building the line that corresponds to the footprint of the house reasonably easily. I can modify and trim, use this one as the cutting edge, and just trim off that overhanging piece. So you can work your way around tracing the drawing. Now I would be inclined not to type these angles in. I think our scaling was sufficiently accurate that we could just set the line command going and just trace over. So I'll draw line, I'll start by jumping to the end point of the line there, and I would just come across here and then down and through here, down, down, and then up, like so, come down to there and there. You don't want to watch me doing it, but you can see we're building that reasonably quickly and easily. Now if we click on layers here, we can put the image on a layer called image. Because that's grey, that tells it there's nothing there at the moment. So let's select the image, change its layer to a layer called image, and then we'll just turn off the image. Click off the light bulb, and there it goes. So there's the footprint of the house, and I think for the purposes of landscape design, that's quite accurate enough. Just for the moment, I'll turn the light bulb back on, and the image appears. So using that system, you can build quite an accurate map of a site such as this. Well, at this stage, it's a good idea to check that your presentation is working the way you want it to. And so I've gone to Format and Layouts, and I've created a brand new layout called Architectural C-Size Plan and labelled it accordingly. So I'll OK there. And if I move to that layout, you can see that our design is presented in that floating viewport. Meanwhile, at this stage, we might want to bring in our logo and other information. So for that, we'll go to the Blocks tool and we'll say Add from another file. We can look on the desktop, and there is our title. So we can insert it at this point into the drawing. OK, and here comes the title. I need to edit that again to make its insertion point bottom left, but that works reasonably well. I can pick my floating viewport and just change its position like so. I've drawn that floating viewport with a red colour, and I'm going to change that colour to colour 255, and we're now done. So there's the logo. We can easily change that address by selecting the block and say editing the block, and the client's address can be put in by simply changing settings in there. So let's right click, close the block editor. So we're getting nearly ready. Progress has been made. You might want to pick that frame, that floating viewport, if I can get it. There it is. And one of the options under Modify is to set a fixed scale in layout. We're asked to select the viewport, which I've done. This is imperial, we're dealing metric or imperial, I'll say imperial, and there's a list. If you look down in the command area, we can say, well, maybe 1/192 would be a reasonable scale in the US, and there is our drawing displayed on the sheet, ready to go, so that as we create more and more of our landscape design over the top of the existing detailed information. So for the sake of argument, if we want to put these curving pieces in, of course we would use the Polyline command and quite possibly apply some sort of curve fit. I'll take Polar off at this stage and just trace my way around that curving boundary like so. I'll stop at that point there, and I could put a particular type of curve fitting on. But I'm sure you know how to manage that sort of thing, and it's very easy, as we did before, just to turn off the image. We could also turn off the title block. So there's the line that we just drew. So let's return there. So progress is being made, and I hope that demonstrates how to take a scanned image of a survey map in the US environment and start building your landscape plan.